And it's Live at 9 with James Phillips here on WJLX. This morning, joining us for our monthly Wellness Wednesday, we've got representatives from Heart, and today it's Tina Aaron and Anthony Sellers. I joked that it was the A-team today because you guys are basically the founders of Heart. So I feel honored that we've got you two in today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too.
We survived the holidays.
We did.
That was what we've talked about the last couple times.
Yes,
And I'm glad all of us survived.
we did.
So, New Year's, we talked about we may really get into New Year's resolutions and how that affect people and how many people can actually make it through the year with a resolution. What information you got for us, Tina?
Well, resolutions do not work. So I don't encourage anybody to do them. And I actually asked my Sunday school class Sunday. None of them are really doing them either. So I think the older we get, we realize we try that, and it's just, we fail. And it's just, it lets ourselves down. So more toward goals and discipline and those kind of things, which we don't like discipline. Nobody does. But the resolutions don't work. The goals do. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about, is how do we set ourselves up more for success than failure.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a resolution and a goal?
Well, Sunday, I'll say this. I told everyone in my church, if you made a resolution, break it today.
Just go ahead and get it over with.
Because you're setting yourself up for failure. I think the difference in a resolution and a goal is, ultimately with these New Year resolutions, this is what we're setting these ideas of where we want to be and what we want to get. And with that, it's almost like a house with a roof with no walls, right? There's no foundation in it. And so the difference in the resolution and the goals or the habits or things like that is, here, instead of me focusing on just what I want to achieve, the idea is that I'm going to change little things in my life every day and be disciplined so that the goal will eventually arrive. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but nobody wants to save.
Right.
It's those kind of things.
So like a resolution, you're looking at, this is what I want to be, but a goal, it's more of, here's the steps to build to that I would like to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, the resolution is a bigger concept. And so I was going to give you some statistics that we looked up for resolutions. 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by mid-February. And 45% abandon them while in the first month, and only 8 to 10% of people keep them all year. And we talked about that even seems high, really.
Yeah.
So they just don't work because it's too big of they're vague, and goals and habits have to be very measured and specific, where you can break things down into small enough chunks, and then you give yourself a little reward when you reach a goal and that kind of thing.
Well, think of it like this. I mean, I think the number one resolution for all people is, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go to the gym.
Right.
Right. So I think the problem with that is, if you really want that, there's something else that's got to happen. So your habits have got to change, but also your routine has got to change. So I told the church Sunday, I said, everybody wants to read the Bible more. Every year you say you're going to read the Bible more or you're going to pray more, and you never do. And the problem is because your routine don't change. You don't get up the hour earlier.
Right.
You don't turn off the TV an hour earlier. You don't make these little increment habit changes and routine changes to set yourself up. So in our hearts, we drive and we're like, I want to lose weight. I want to read the Bible more. I want to do X, I want to save more money. But in the end, you're not changing the routine and the habits in your life, just micro habits. So that's one thing the book Atomic Habits talks about a lot, micro habits.
Right.
You're not changing these little bitty habits in your life to set yourself up. So a good story would be like this. I'm going to pray more every day. In January 1, you get out of the bed, you hit your knees, and you're praying, and you feel good about it, and you're like, I can do this every day, and then you have the worst day of your life.
Right. Well,
Right.
that's usually when people will start praying, though, on that worst day of their life.
Yeah, and so you're just exhausted when you get
Yeah.
home. You get in the bed, you oversleep the next day, and you're like, I'll do it tonight.
Right.
but then your favorite show comes on.
Yeah.
And so you don't pray that night. And then the whole system, because you wanted the outcome, but you didn't change the habits. Instead of saying, I'm going to pray more, the habit is, I'm going to get up 30 minutes earlier. I'm going to shut the TV off an hour earlier than I normally do. Things like that.
Yeah. Well, and I would think with resolutions, sometimes it's tough that people aren't doing those in a healthy way either, because they're saying they want to lose weight, but you got to do the healthy things to make you be able to lose weight. It's not just I'm going to starve myself or those things. Like, you got to have a plan in place instead of just saying it. And a resolution is basically, hey, I want this. You know.
Yes, it's I want this.
Yeah.
And I think that people realize, I mean, we all want something, but we're not, like Tina was talking about, that never works because we're not disciplined enough to make the little changes of routine and habit in our life to truly achieve it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, what did you say, like 80% of people make it to February?
Yeah. And 8 make it the entire year, but before we came on the air, we mentioned that, and you said that those 8% are probably made up mostly of people who are already doing the right thing anyway.
Already disciplined people.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the difference with a habit? Like, how can people form a habit?
Well, we're looking at like SMART goals, where again, they are specific things. So if I'm wanting, we'll just use weight while we're talking about that. If I'm wanting to lose 20 pounds, that's going to take time. If I do it in an unhealthy way, it's not going to last, and it's not going to be, not going to be right. But if I want to lose 20 pounds, I need to be specific. Okay, I want to lose 20 pounds by 6 months or whatever my goal is. I need to measure it. So I need to say, okay, I'm in week 1. Did I lose any weight?
Wait,
Right.
the M stands for measure? I thought the M stood for Manjaro.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a lot of people, it stands for Manjaro.
And that was kind of my point in the healthy ways a little bit, is that, we look for these easy ways to lose, especially when it's losing weight. We look for the easy ways to do it a lot of times, and that just doesn't seem to last because you're not making a lifestyle change.
Right, and so you're setting that SMART goal up. Is it attainable? Again, allow myself enough time, and then I'm very specific in my routine. I'm changing my diet. I'm going to start exercising. I'm drinking more water. Is it realistic? Is it realistic for me to lose 20 pounds in 6 months, or whatever that goal is? And then, so that's how you're doing it. You're setting everything up in kind of that SMART goal kind of timeline. And
Right.
what we want, because we're this microwave generation, we want the drive-through breakthroughs. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but do we want to live the life on the narrow road?
Right.
Everybody wants to be skinny, I guess, but do we want to do what it takes? Everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to be whatever, rich, like you talked about. But do we want to save money? Do we want to stop spending? Do we want to work 2 jobs if we have to? So it's those very small, measurable things that add up over time.
Right. What about this is a preacher question, since you brought up prayer and reading your Bible. Reading your Bible, you're going to have to set aside a time because you can't just do that. So you're going to have to sit and read. If it's read your Bible or read a book every day. Prayer. What if people are looking more to a praying without ceasing kind of thing, where it's not I'm just going to get up every morning, get on my knees and pray, but throughout the day I'm going to try to make it where I'm in a spirit of prayer or something like that. What's some pointers on that?
Somebody hit me up with that the other day when I mentioned that. And I never actually tell people you need to pray more.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's too judgmental in the fact that...
That's a finger wagging thing.
Yeah. But somebody hit me up with that real quickly about this habit thing, because, you always bring up read the Bible more, pray more, whatever. And they're like, what if I want to pray all day? And I said, that's up to you.
Right.
I'm a firm believer of that anything that's random in our lives that's not disciplined
Right.
Is on the chopping block at all times to our very chaotic world.
Yeah.
So if randomness, going to the gym, randomness, reading the Bible, randomness, praying, those things are always at the, they're always, the chopping block's the best way to say it. Like they're always on the edge of being overtaken
They're kind of at the mercy of just life.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah.
You get going. Facebook, whatever. Something goes on in your family. They're always at the mercy of whatever is at your life. But if something is a routine,
Right.
which habits and routine go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So at 7 o'clock I pray. At lunch I pray, and anytime that I feel those things within the day, I can do that as well. But my routine says, at 7 I pray. At 12 I pray. At 7 I pray. And
Yeah.
right before I go to sleep I pray. Those things are safeguarded and built into successful habits, routine, which produces probably the thing that you wanted
Right.
in the first place. I focus more on the routine. Routine is everything to me. It drives Mary absolutely insane because everything is routine.
Right.
I don't focus on the outcome because if my routine is right,
Then the outcome should be.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I've got one good friend who he does prayer and exercise at the 10th of every hour
Mhm.
that he's awake. And he does a short prayer at 10 minutes after. And then I think he does like 10 push-ups or something like that. No matter where, like he stopped in stores before
Oh, wow.
and did push-ups. And that's his routine. And it seems to work for him, but I don't think I could pull it off.
I can't do one push-up.
Right.
Well, resolutions are built on motivation, not structure, which is what Anthony's talking about. The structure is where we all need structure. you know?
Right.
And so motivation, I don't even believe in motivation, or willpower. I don't even think that's a thing because
Yeah.
we know we've all tried it.
Right.
You're motivated, and then, like he said, something happens in life. A trauma happens, a grief happens, a TikTok happens, and
Yeah.
it pulls us out of that. We're not motivated anymore by it.
And we
whatever
don't
were
lose
doing.
those things like TikTok and Facebook or whatever our favorite show is. We don't lose those things, but we'll lose some of the things that are important that we want to change. you
Right.
know?
So,
Yeah.
for example, right now we're in 21 days of prayer. And so every morning, and this morning at 6, it's live. And so I'm not going to the church at 6 a.m. because I'm not able to go all the way to Birmingham to do that.
Right.
But I'd watch it live. And so I'd get up. I wouldn't have had to have gotten up at 6 o'clock this morning because I had a little bit later I could have came in this morning.
Yeah.
But because I'm determined for 21 days, I've made that commitment and I know it works for me. I get up and do that every morning, and that's my routine. And I set aside everything else. And plus that 21 days, I'm also setting aside several things that I'm fasting different things. So those are kind of things you're determined to do it. I'm not just hoping I do it or I'm motivated to do it. I'm setting myself up to do that,
Right. And most fast here at the beginning of the year, I know a lot of people do like a 21-day fast or entire month fast, things like that. And so that should be, if you use the fast as a way to kind of start some habits, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yes, absolutely. And I was thinking about that with 21 days of prayer. It takes about 21 days to build a good habit.
Right.
And I think, as those things are happening with those who are doing 21 days of prayer, they don't even realize it, but they're actually building up that habit of prayer, habit of seek the kingdom first,
Right.
habit of getting up early. And, where 21 days of prayer is calling Tina up earlier, my French press causes me to get up earlier
Right.
every day. I have it structured in time, a little after 6. My water goes in, and I think even those little nuggets of things are creating these structures in our life that can produce the outcomes. And I preached on this Sunday a little bit. I'm just going to share a little nugget of it, how this goes hand in hand. When Nehemiah went to the king to ask to rebuild the gate, or not the gate, but the walls, right? A lot of people just missed this little section. It says that Nehemiah actually went out there, went through the dung gate, looked at the wall and assessed everything, and then found himself at the king's fountain and the king's gate. And then he went back and rallied everyone up. So what Nehemiah was doing was he was going to assess the issue, build a
Right.
plan.
Right.
We're not going to come here tomorrow and the walls are going to be rebuilt because we resolute it.
Right. Yeah.
I got to build a plan. But the first thing he had to do was pass through the dung gate. And I think that's real interesting because he could have went, there's a bunch of gates. And I think that just shows us that we're going to have to sift through some of our dung gate in our life in order to create a plan that will bring us success.
Right.
And then as he's assessing what happens, he makes his way to the King's Fountain and the King's Gate and ends there and then goes back because he was seeing what it could be.
Yeah.
You can see what it can be, but you've got to sift through some of the stuff in your life.
You got to walk through the poop.
You said it. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
You got to sift through the poo.
Just to make sure everybody's understanding what a dung gate
Right.
is.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I didn't want to say it without your permission, but now I can say poo every
Yeah, you can
5
say
minutes.
anything you want to, really.
You got to sift through the poo in your life and assess how you going to move forward, and then rally people behind you. Now, the next thing that happens in the story is people come and they ridicule him.
Right.
You're never going to rebuild that. You guys can't do that. And then when they started making progress, the next thing they did was attack them.
Right.
And so I think when we think about the structure and the things that Tina is saying and how most people aren't successful, is we have to understand there's things that are going to come. If we don't assess our situation, sift through some of the poo, get a good structured routine, and understand that people just aren't for you.
Right.
Not in this world.
Right.
You have to sift through the ridicule, sift through the attacks, and they ended up building that wall with a hammer in one hand and a sword in the other.
Right.
Because they were driven to the success, and
Yeah.
it did not come overnight.
Yeah. Well, and whether somebody's a believer or not, I would think in our lives when you're trying to do something positive, whether it be for yourself or somebody else, there's always something that comes against that.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what religion they're in, you've had to have felt that before.
Yeah.
But looking at it through the lens of like Nehemiah, it's completely true the way that things break down.
Yeah.
And you have to have a little bit of gumption and fortitude to keep going in that direction, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break real quick because we're at 9:30, and when we come back, I wanted to talk a little bit maybe about how people, with it being the new year, how do you go from that last year, whether it was a good one or a bad one, and have the right aspect and outlook for what's going to happen this year too, and maybe some ways that can help with that as far as this goes.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, well, let's take a break real quick, and then we'll be right back on Live at 9 with James Phillips here on WJLX. And we're back on WJLX. It's Live at 9 with James Phillips this morning. We got folks from Hart here. It's Tina Aaron and Anthony Sellers. And be sure to check out Hart. Check out, what's the website, Anthony?
heartofwalkercounty.org.
For all your counseling needs, they've got plenty of different groups that meet. Tina just mentioned while we were off the air that they started a grief support class here just in the last few days. There's all kinds of different things going on, but go to the website and go to their Facebook page to see and get in touch with them if you need any sort of counseling or really just anything that you feel like you need help with. I feel like Hart can help you. If it's not you guys, you know the resources.
We certainly try.
I'd mentioned before we went to break that it'd be good to talk about just the calendar change and how a lot of people 2025 may not have been a great year. They may be feeling anxiety coming into a new year, and all different sorts of things. So, what about some of that information?
Well, I think, and I've heard people say, and James, you said it yourself just a few minutes ago, if we're having a tough year, people will say, I can't wait for this year to be over.
Right.
I can't wait to start the new year. And really, it's just another day. It's just the next day. So.
Huh? Anthony? Sellers? Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's okay.
That's okay.
So I think we have this misconception that January 1st it's this whole new beginning, and that's what society has done. But it's just the next day. It's the day after December 31st.
Right.
So people are motivated sometimes, to change, but they're also overwhelmed maybe from what they just came through. Maybe a hard season, all the holidays. Hopeful, but maybe still grieving.
Well, and how many people said, and you said even during the middle of the year, people can say, "Hey, I'm ready for this year to be over with."
Yes, can't wait for this year to end.
Yeah.
I hear that we hear that all the time. So talking about different habits, in this book, Atomic Habits, he says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So again, it's all about a very clear system. Even at Hart, we're always working on our systems. To have an effective and efficient system really is just about systems. And with routine, that brings a lot of safety and security for people. In general, people need routine. We talked a minute ago about, and I would love to talk about this just for 1 second. If you're grieving or children have a loss or whatever, keep the routine as tight as possible to what they know. Routine is just so important, that you're practicing your daily, good hygiene, and you're eating your meals like the regular time, and you're still going to bed at, your time or getting up at your time. Keeping routines builds so much security and safety around that.
Yeah, the studies show that the most successful people in the world were children of routine.
Right. Yeah.
And those who struggle with success are those who had a free range schedule.
Right.
And that's hard, especially in today's world. Like, my son absolutely loathes the fact that I have control over his phone.
Right.
And I can break his routine at certain times.
Yeah.
And I absolutely do. And he hates it, right? But I want him to be successful. He doesn't see that now. But when he's older, he will see that establishing these systems is not just for now, it's for later. And that's the whole thing with resolution. We want what will come later, but we got to work on it now in small increments.
Right. What are some factors that can help people to keep those routines?
I think that's the hardest part.
And I'm sure each person's different too.
That's why it's hard to navigate. But I think that's a great question: is how do you have people keep their routines, set up their routines? And I think that it really just looks like for you a different person, right? As a different individual. But ultimately, I think we start at the baseline. I get up at the same time every day.
Right.
I brush my teeth the same time every day. I eat lunch as best I can, same time every day, and I go to bed at the same time every day. If we can start in those that's the famous 4.
Right. And kind of control those baseline things.
Mm-hmm. Then other things can kind of form. Like there are other things that are loose in my life. Like Tina will tell you, like she knows I'm pretty routine because I preach it all the time. But
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean you do it, though.
Well, right, but I like I do not come into the office at 9 o'clock every morning. But you know what? One thing I do is my coffee at 6:22 is done.
You're right.
You know, and so there's things in my life that are rock solid, and there's things in my life that are not, and it's finding those baseline things that make me. I don't want to say normal,
Right.
but helps normalcy in my life.
Yeah, makes you feel normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mental health thing, and if you ask the question, what is one thing you could do every day, even on your worst day? Even on your worst day, if it's, I make my bed every day, even if today's my worst day, it will bring some comfort in some routine that I still am functioning. I'm still getting up and I can do it. If I can do that, then I can do the next thing, So it's so much on the mental health. And I would love for us to look at the brain a little bit and talk about neuroplasticity. And Anthony's much better at this than I am. I only know enough to get myself probably in trouble, but
Right.
it's a real thing. You can change your brain. You can change those pathways, and whatever you're kind of feeding is what's growing. You kind of hear like the good angel or the bad angel on the shoulder. Wherever you're feeding that dog's gonna get bigger. And
Right.
if you're making these good decisions and good habits, they're going to create new pathways and stronger pathways. Whatever you repeat, same thing if you are. If you keep walking across that same path in your yard, you're going to wear that path out.
Yeah.
You're just going to wear it down. So you can make those changes and you really can change your brain.
Yeah. It's hard, though. I know. I will say this. So I'll give you a behind the scenes of the routine of the Sellers household, right? Every day we make our bed. Shepard has not figured this out yet. He's not real pleased with this, but every day we make our bed. We get up at the same time. We eat dinner at the same time. I was raised that way. My dad was very strict. So at 6 o'clock it was dinner time, and at 6:30 you got up.
Right.
And so it was just very regimented. 9 o'clock as a senior in high school, I was in bed, no TV.
Right.
So we go to bed at the same time. But little things that we added along the way. Every night before we go to bed now, we turn the TV off and we do a sweep of the entire house. Everything is in place, clean, everything. And when we first started that a while back, it was like, we can do this tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
Let's not do this tonight. But now, because we forced those things, we carved that path. We did we wired our brain this way. I found myself last night. I was exhausted. I looked up and somehow I was at the sink washing a dish.
Right.
And I don't even remember getting there.
Right.
It's just like I was cleaning everything up, and then I went into the bedroom and Mary was putting up the laundry that's in the dryer. If anyone wants to start with a routine, it's put those clothes up before you go to bed.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I don't know. I'm just here putting up the clothes." It just kind of builds into.
Y'all have just become cleaning zombies somehow.
Yeah, it just becomes part of that neural pathway.
Yeah.
This is what we do now before we go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that same concept of you've driven the same way to work
Right.
every day of your life, and then sometimes you get to work and you're like, I don't even remember getting here.
Right.
That's a little scary.
Yeah.
I remember nothing because you're just on autopilot sometimes, and sometimes your brain and your psyche needs to be on autopilot because sometimes you're dealing with something that's heavy and you really can't process it, and you need that little, again, it provides so much structure. So looking at a few things, examples, if you wanted to start journaling, instead of I'm going to journal a whole chapter of something or whatever, start with I'm going to do a page today, or I'm going to do a paragraph. I'm going to do a sentence.
Right.
I mean, just be a little kind to yourself. I do not drink water well, but I was really proud of myself yesterday, and I told my husband when I went to bed, I said, I think I drank a whole bottle of water today, and he laughed. He said, you drank a whole bottle of water? I'm like, that was a big deal for me because I don't, he's like, I probably had 10 bottles of water today.
But you got to celebrate the little things.
Yes, and then you get a little dopamine hit, and I'm proud of myself that I
Yeah.
had a little bit of water, so I've already had a little bit of water today.
What do you normally drink?
I drink a lot of Diet Mountain Dew, but again, I'm putting that off for 21 days, so I'm not. You see it sometimes on my desk. You're like, you've got so many half-drank things.
So many Diet Mountain Dews.
So many that I just take a sip and I don't drink anymore. I don't drink a whole lot of anything. You might do, instead of doing the Bible recap, I'm going to read a chapter a day in the Bible, I'm going to read a verse. And now there's so many apps. You can get a Bible verse sent to your phone every hour if you wanted to as a reminder. You know, set yourself up for things like that. Leave your Bible or journal where you can see it. Set your phone reminders with encouraging language. Remove barriers instead of adding pressure. So we are in a world of technology where you can really set yourself up for success with all these reminders, and you know, don't have to be thinking about it. You can create a lot of that for yourself.
And like I mentioned with you, with drinking a little bit of water, you got to celebrate those little things. But how do people, because the brain is so difficult to rewire. From personal experience, I can say that even with like the loss of a limb, because my brain, I still have phantom pain or phantom feeling because that foot was there for 40 something years. So the brain still feels that, even 3 years later. How can people celebrate those little things and not get down on themselves if they don't hit that mark or that kind of thing? Like, how does that balance each other out?
I think that is the most perfect question, because that's one of the attacks that come from
because you get down on yourself.
Yes, you get down on yourself, and that, like, I'm reading this book right now, The Courage to be Disliked, and I was talking to Tina earlier about it, and I think this is huge. If Tina was drinking that water to impress me, and I was not impressed, very quickly I could break that cycle in her.
Yeah.
But if she is drinking that water for herself, nothing that I really say or do matters. And so the way that we celebrate our micro habits, and that's what Atomic Habits really talks about a lot.
Yeah.
The way we celebrate our micro systems is we're not doing that for any external validation or extrinsic, or is that what it is? Yeah. We're not looking for that external validation. We're doing this for me.
Right.
And so I know, like for Tina, she does not like water too much. She expressed that.
Yeah.
So for her, drinking a whole bottle of water, that's a success.
Yeah.
And she should be able. Where the problem comes in, and like I was mentioning with Nehemiah, is I come in and say, that was only a bottle of water. Your kidneys are dying. You know, now I've devalued.
And she said she doesn't drink much at all anyway. So
Right.
you need to hydrate.
I'm probably living in a constant state of dehydration, really. I probably do.
Yeah, and so, but now I've devalidated her habits, and if she cares about what I think,
Right.
this is why the courage to be disliked is so important. If she cares about what I think, I can derail that instantly.
Yeah.
So you have to turn that around.
Yeah, and I think sometimes also if we share our resolutions with people, and then they shame us when we don't do it, you know, then you feel
Right.
guilty or something. So that's not good. But the thing about the brain, I love this. I looked this up yesterday. Your brain strengthens what you do often, not what you do once. So, like, if I want to start exercising and I just hardcore and nearly kill myself for 3 hours one time, that's not going to make any kind of thing happen in my brain, as opposed to I'm doing small things often. Your
Right.
brain responds to that, to the repetition.
Now your body's going to feel that one time
Yeah.
if you work out for 3 hours.
Yeah, but it's
and try
going to
kill
go
yourself.
away. It's going
Yeah,
to go
but it's
away in
gonna
a
go
few
away,
days.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's that repetition, those small things, firing on those neurons and strengthening those pathways in our brain is what rewires the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So.
It's not a one and done of anything. It is consistency. And even when we talk about parenting, it's a little bit off topic, but parenting, the biggest C in parenting is consistency. Because if Anthony's trying to still parent Shep, my kids are grown. I'm empty nesting, but you're still parenting, and I'm probably still parenting in, I guess, a certain way. We never stop being parents, but
Right.
you're being consistent with Shep. If you stop that consistency, he's not going to just, it's going to be like, oh, yay, we stopped it. You know, you've got to be consistent, even when you don't want to be. That's the thing with parenting. It's hard work being consistent. If we tell kids one thing one day, you can have this today, and you can't have it tomorrow, we're always wishy-washy. No consistency in that. Anything we do, we need to be consistent with.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely so. Let's see what time we're at right now. Okay, we still got a few minutes. Anthony, what's your New Year's resolution?
I don't have one.
I'm just trying to check.
Yeah,
See, make sure.
I do not have one. I learned a long time ago that if I make a resolution, I'm going to gain 40 pounds.
Right.
Yeah. So no, I really. What's your New Year's resolution?
Don't have one, but
Yeah.
Anthony and I, every year, we set goals and do things at heart. And we yesterday talked about goals.
I was
for
going to
this
ask
year.
what some of your personal goals so people can kind of identify with that sort of thing?
Yes, for me, just my personal goals, which is an everyday thing. And I think that's so interesting when Tina brought up that about, January 1 is not, okay, this is new. I mean, it is a new year superficially, but it's
Right.
really just another day.
Right.
So personal goals for myself is I'm always working today for my family's future. So everything and every choice that I make, like financially or in our home or whatever, I'm looking 10 years down the road. I think the most intelligent people and the most successful people never are focused on the next 3 days. They're focused on the next 3 years.
Right.
And so everything that I do in my life and my goals are built around the next 3 years. So whether it's I'm going to commit this year to invest in 20% more, or I'm going to buy less very high end smell good cologne. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
those are little things that are just goals for myself for my 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Tina, what are some of your personal goals?
Because I'm just in a different stage of life, we work a lot of hours at Heart, and so one of my personal goals is to try to figure out how to work less, maybe work smarter, not harder. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
not be there 10 hours a day and figure out how to go home at a consistent time. And because now that we're empty nesting, we don't have a supper time. It's just my husband and I. And so we may eat supper, may not. Last night we had peanut butter and crackers for
Yeah.
supper, because I don't have anybody. And I had my grandson the other day, and they're very consistent at their house. My daughter-in-law cooks, I mean, every night. And I had him, and he would spend the night, and it was past supper time, and he said, "Hey, Gigi, when is supper?"
Right.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot we don't have supper here anymore," And it was just so funny. It reminded me of how that is so. He's 4 years old,
Yeah.
and he was like, "When is supper? I know I have supper at a certain time."
He-
And he was probably his little belly was probably.
I was
also,
gonna say, he's probably starving.
He was probably starving. I probably gave him junk food all day, which I'm not supposed to do. I
You
don't
broke
do
his
that.
routine.
I broke
Oh,
his
yeah.
routine. That's the main thing. Is I broke his routine.
Yeah.
Even he knew he had a routine. And then the next morning, because Gigi's, we do things different,
Right.
So the next morning he said, "Gigi, you didn't even give me a bath last night."
Oh my goodness.
I thought, because then we were partying,
Yeah.
and my daughter called and she said, "Are you having a spend the night party?" And in his mind, he thought party was like, he said, "No, we're not having a party. I'm just spending the night."
Right.
But we watch movies and we eat popcorn in bed. And so, no, we didn't take a bath because
Yeah.
we didn't want to,
Yeah.
It wasn't a school night. We didn't have to. So, but he knew that was not his normal
Right.
routine.
He knew he was used to that.
He was used to it, and that brings him, a lot of stability. So we do break routine at Gigi's, but that's we're at the yes house. And whatever we
Right.
want to do is yes, we can do that. So
GGs get to do that.
Yeah,
Gigi's
right.
can
yeah.
do that, but yeah.
I think the number one enemy of resolutions and/or anything successful is FOMO.
Right.
I think the fear of missing out on something is a derailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that comes from the lack of courage of being disliked. I'm really heavy in this right now because if we genuinely, if we genuinely care about ourselves, and we genuinely care about our health, and we care about our family, then we do not care about what other people think.
Right.
And that may cause us to be disliked. That's okay. I don't know. I told Tina this the other day. I don't know why people don't like me because I'm very good looking. I smell good. I'm super funny.
Yeah.
But man, people don't like me. And but it's okay because I have to. It's not in a sense of selfishness. But I have to take care of me.
Right.
And if I get lost in FOMO and wondering what other people are doing and what I'm missing out on and all these things, that is going to derail all my success. So I think that's a big thing for people who want to set goals, who want to have better habits. You genuinely just have got to let everything else that you would be afraid of missing out on go, because that missing out stuff is what's going to derail you.
Remind everybody the name of the book that you are reading right now.
I'm reading The Courage to Be Disliked.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
check that out. Who's the author, dude?
He's a Japanese philosopher. I can't pronounce his name.
I understand that.
But
so
I
everybody
will-
just search on Amazon. You'll find it.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great book. I've read through it several times, and I just keep reminding myself it's not hard to read. So it's a Japanese philosopher, but it's not written like that. It's a young man who is having a conversation back and forth with this philosopher, and really life changing.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us a little bit about Atomic Habits. We've talked about it a good bit during the chat here, but tell us about what's gotten that.
Well,
and how people can use that as opposed to resolutions.
Yeah, and I showed this for our YouTube, Facebook people. So we're giving this book away, and also has an accompanying daily calendar.
Yeah, I saw that. Now we shared it last night on the social media too.
We are giving that away on, I think, Monday. So if you, I think, go to our Facebook page. I'm not on social media right now because, again, I'm in 21 Days of Prayer, so there's things I'm letting go, but someone is doing our social media, so you can go there and I think liking our page, and we'll enter you to win. This was something we read last year. It may have come out a couple of years ago. I don't know, but it's really good, and tiny changes, remarkable results. And I think the pressure, kind of ending up with resolutions is the pressure of the new year and all these things, and we put too much on ourselves to start over, start over. And emotionally, physically, spiritually, we can't do all those things at one time. So I think if you're trying to set goals, don't try to set a goal of, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to be, doing like 10 things at one time. You got to just pick something that you're doing. You'll just throw in the towel if you do 10 big things at one time.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start losing weight. I'm going to start going, you know, whatever it is. We put too much pressure on ourselves. Do small things over time. Be consistent.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I meant to ask about, and I've kind of let the time slip away. What about vision boards?
Love vision boards.
Yeah, I have a few family members that they do a vision board every beginning of the year, but they'll do them other times of the year too.
Love vision boards. And with our teens, we have at Heart, we have the teens that come through juvenile probation, and so a lot of their youth coaches will do vision boards with them. Very important. I've had things on my refrigerator all the time. I can remember my daughter doing a vision board a few years ago because she was wanting to find true love, and all these things. And,
did it work?
Yeah, she's getting married May 1st.
There you go.
Yes, yeah, she found the one her soul loves. We got to get through the wedding. We'll be okay. But yeah, vision boards are great. They really are a constant reminder. And my refrigerator is kind of my vision board.
Yeah, that's your canvas there.
It is. But people, do your own vision board. And again, with technology, I'm not great at technology. Anthony is the tech guru, but you can, I'm sure, put things on your screens, all kinds of stuff that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure there's an app just for a vision board.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
There's an app for everything.
There is an app for everything, and I think vision boards are good in the idea. I don't do vision boards just because I'm not very organized.
Right.
And so I would make one, but then I would also use it to start my green egg when I'm going to smoke some ribs. So
right.
But I think the idea is, number one, it's not just a reminder. I think the vision board's good for reminders. But number two, if you put a vision board in, like for your daughter, who could have just put a picture of Justin Timberlake there and said, "This is where I'm going."
Yeah, right.
For a man, But instead, it's step by step. So it's these little things. If you build a vision board in this way, of the processes of where you want to be.
Yeah.
I think that's again, you're reinforcing the structure of the steps. A contractor does not walk into a house and say, "Tomorrow the house will be built."
Right.
He looks at where he wants to start. He maps it out.
There's got to be drawings. There's got to be every step along the way.
And there is a cost.
Right.
So there has to be an upfront cost, a back-end cost. There's a cost. And so I think when you have that map, like vision boards or any other kind of map, I think those things are great.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that you're building that intrinsic, that hope, And I think in this day and time, especially coming from Christmas, we have robbed our children of any kind of intrinsic ability to want anything or to hope for anything. Because they want a new bicycle, we go today and get them a new bicycle.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Before we had to wait and want something. Years ago, Dr. Dobson did a wonderful series on making your children have the blessing of the wanting.
Right.
Learning how to want something. We don't. We just give it to them. They got the latest, greatest. Right, the day it comes out, No, we don't have to want to go get it. It's the new PlayStation or whatever, I don't know, gaming systems. You go get it today. You will fight the next person to get your kid that thing
Right.
today. Don't make them want anything. And it's that, again, instant gratification. We don't know how to wait, and that translates spiritually. If we're praying about something and the Lord doesn't give us our answer right now, we don't know how to wait.
Right.
And we're doing a disservice to our children, and we don't teach them how to be patient in the waiting, and then the hope is in the waiting, you know.
Yeah.
That was just a little sermonette.
That was
That was
good.
Yeah, that was good. And I really think just from the conversation we've had today that the key is, don't worry about this year or next year, or it's an everyday process.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can make the right habits, you can change your life from that point forward.
Yes.
And you won't have to worry about, oh, thank goodness this year's over with.
Hey, we're not promised tomorrow.
Right.
And
Hey, if anybody knows, I can tell you that.
we're not promised. Yeah, you were like
Yeah.
30 times you died. We're not promised tomorrow. And the Lord always says, look at the birds. They're not worrying about what they're doing, So, yeah, we do need to be concerned for our life. Obviously, we need to make good decisions. But, tomorrow's troubles are there. They'll take care of themselves. Take today. Do good for yourself today. Do good for your family today. Set small things you can achieve.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. Well, anything else before we go? Anything you need to let folks know what's going on at Heart just in the next week or two?
Now, just go to our Facebook and, get yourself entered to win the book and the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great book.
Yeah. I'm going to have to check out it and the one that you recommended too. They
Yeah.
both sound good.
Yeah. I tell you what, we're going to add that. We'll add that to this one.
Okay.
We'll
There
add
you
that
go.
to that.
Somebody's getting 2 books.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, that's a few years worth of reading.
True.
Yeah. And I will say, we have a lot of counselors at Heart, but there's a lot of places that have great counselors. If you need that support this year, find somewhere you feel comfortable to go.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the main reason that that I wanted to do this monthly is that it's not just to push people to Heart, but
no.
it's to let people know it's okay to look for somebody for
Yeah.
help. It's
Yeah.
okay to call on people.
Yeah.
But you guys do an incredible job here in the county and expanding to other areas. So,
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that you guys are here.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank
Thank you
you.
for having us.
It's
Yeah.
definitely been a labor of love, but it's paying out.
Well, guys, thanks for listening today. Heart will be back in February. And, oh, shoot, we should probably talk about something about love or something.
Yeah,
like,
we'll have
like
to.
marital advice.
Yeah,
and things
maybe.
like
We'll
that.
do that, maybe.
Oh, my gosh.
See, I knew I'd get Anthony a little. He's sweating already over there.
I'll sing y'all a song or something.
Yeah.
Y'all might have to bring y'all's significant others in with you or
Oh,
something.
that'd be
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That would be fun.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That would be fun.
That would be sabotaging myself a little, I think. But we'll see.
Then we'll find out the true stories.
Yes.
Well, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow. On Thursday, we're going to have Senator Matt Woods here to talk about the upcoming legislative session, and then on Friday, we will have Eagles Wings, a gospel group that's local here that travels all over. We're going to have them in to talk about their ministry. So rest of the week, we're going to be good. Until tomorrow, be kind and love, and we'll see you on Thursday here on Live at 9 with James Phillips on WJLX.